everyone, I'm Alex and I'm the hands behind Lovecraft Crochet. My plushies are for the anxious, depressed, autistic, and neurodivergent. Small enough to travel in a purse, backpack, diaper bag, or even your pocket. You can check out my Facebook page or TikTok to see what patterns are available and stay tuned for the new ones coming out. I also make hats, scarves, blankets, and dice bags for the tabletop gamer or dice goblin in your life. Feel free to order through the page, TikTok DMs, or via email at love.craft.crochet@gmail.com. Now, on to the segment.
You good?
I started. You don't open your fucking mouth with that. Look at me! Swear to me! Hi, I'm AJ Carey.
Yeah, I'm Sam Rossi, and he's scaring me a little.
No, you're scary. Ha 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 ha. Actually, you're Scrossy now.
I'm a Scrossy.
Srossy.
Rossi?
There's no K. Srossy.
There's no Swassi.
Swassy.
The SR kind of makes it, I don't know.
Anyways, this is Blanking 15 Minutes, our random talking show where we talk about random things. And we're actually, instead of doing it our old format, I know I'm going to say this probably for the next episode and one more after that just to hammer it in. We do not have the 1 hour for one topic that we used to have. Now we have 3 fantastic segments with some filler in between to not muddy the water.
I don't think we should call it filler. I like interlude better.
Fine, there's interludes.
You're gonna make me edit this.
No, you don't have to edit it. And today, we've got phenomenal things in conversation cards, where we look at conversation cards, on topics with a Z, where we randomly use a topic. It's very similar to what we used to do, except it's 15 to 20 minutes now. And then Sammy's Creative Corner at the end. But if you don't want to hear the randomness that just occurred or will occur and is going to occur, then please also check us out on Killing 15 Minutes and Mything 15 Minutes. This week, Killing 15 Minutes is the Charles Manson story, part 3.
3. It's the LaBianca's murders.
It's the LaBianca murders. And it's slightly funny. And yes, I say slightly funny insofar as I believe it's where we really start hitting it home that Atkins needs to shut the fuck up.
I believe, no. We started doing that in episode 4 when we talk about Shorty's murder.
Yeah, but this is episode 3. This is the 3rd time that she
runs her mouth. Yes, but she always tells us something new with each case.
No. You tell me something new she said per each case.
Anyway,
she only opened her mouth once. I just have to reiterate. I have to Rashomon.
No. She opened her mouth a lot.
And the other one is Mything 15 Minutes. This week is the women in white archetype of ghosts. Or as I like to call it, where the women in white at? That's going to be an overview on all the women in white stories, like a lot of Japanese ghosts, angry spirit ladies. You know them from The Ring, them. Those are women in white. So are all the European ghosts that are women in white. So are a lot of Phantom Hitchhikers that are women in... You see, there's a theme. You know what that theme is?
Prom.
Women in white. Actually, not a lot of prom women in white.
Really?
Usually, they are considered not women in white because most people don't wear white to their prom.
I can see that.
Which is actually interesting because that will lead... what you just brought up actually leads into a much later, I don't know about much, we haven't recorded it yet, episode on Vanishing Hitchhikers.
Cool.
Because we get to talk about Resurrection Mary there.
Hey.
And of course, if you don't like any of that, listen to our backlog. Why not? Listen to Retrostatic Radio, a former audio series of variety of old-time radio shows remade for the modern era. That's Retrostatic Radio, old radio, new waves. And, or, you can always go over and listen to any of the Comic Archivist stuff, like Then and Now of Comics, First Issues Now, which also had some Sammy's picks, which was also really cool, because guess what? She is still reading Speed Racer and that. I think that's... I know you're also still reading, not the Mighty Ducks, Scrooge McDuck.
Uncle Scrooge, yep.
But I would count, and I actually tweeted this out. I know this isn't related to this. I actually tweeted it out to Dave Papose that I consider Speed Racer your air quote first comic, because while you have read comics in the past, I would argue that Speed Racer is the first one you read that made you go, I'm going to continue reading this weekly, or monthly.
You're correct. It was one of the first ones where I was like, I'm invested, and I was invested probably about halfway through the book. But with Scrooge, I was invested in that one by the end of the prologue, which was 4 pages. Well, 8 pages front, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. But I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, no, I'm cool.
Maybe I'll send him a message being like, hey, you want to be on Sam's Creative Corner? And then you get to have absolutely no idea what to talk about with a pro. With someone who sells millions of comics. Anyways.
He broke me!
So, let's hit our first interlude and then come on back for conversation cards.
Yes.
Wow, wasn't that a great opener? Hi, I'm AJ Carey. You just heard me. And next to me is Sam Rossi. You just heard her too.
So why are we reintroducing ourselves?
I don't know. I'm trying to find a flow to these and it's not happening. So, if you haven't noticed, this is going to be our section, Conversation Cards, where we look at the talking points card, specifically the small talk box, and you should honestly get your own too. They are very nice, interesting stories. They open up a nice dialogue. Like, have you ever been hangry? And more. So, I'm going to pull the card. Wish, wish, wish. It is from the Fun and Random, which is supposed to be a fun and random question to elucidate things. Ooh, this one might actually be interesting.
All right, what we got?
If you could switch lives with anyone for a day, who would it be and why?
Do I get their bank account at the same time?
I would assume so, because that's exactly what my first thought went to.
Let's see. I'm gonna go... There's nobody's life I really want. Unless I get the bank account to transfer the money back to me.
Well, that's sort of exactly where I think it's very unfair. This question is kind of unfair because it is exactly that. It's, whose life would I want? I would like my life.
All right, so you just dropped the conversation cards and they all
and
stayed in the box.
Nothing spilled. Thank you very much.
I was just saying that. I was giving you props while you start jumping going, and I didn't spill it. Like I wasn't giving you props.
You were giving me props until I said none of it spilled.
I'm
you did it confrontationally.
I did not say it confrontationally. Now I am.
So anyways, answer the question.
What was the question?
If you could switch lives with anyone for
I
a
have no
single
fucking
day.
idea. I don't think I would. Unless it's that I can take their money and then send it to me so I would have the lifestyle I want for my family and my, friends, my family.
No, I agree. And depending on the person you picked, your friends too. Even your very, very low acquaintance. Because guess what? Any billionaire diversifying their, losing their money and putting it back into the economy would instantly better the U.S. economy. Even if you took it as fucking Elon Musk, $500 billion. Yes, all of it's in loans and liens and everything like that. His bank account probably looks like shit because he also, gets away from paying taxes by having everything in stocks.
And he gets paid off the interest.
But we just generally, he also gets paid by the interest, but he has liens and loans that you game the system to become a billionaire. You do not actually get to be a billionaire if you have a useful thing. I'll add an asterisk. I will say Jeff Bezos he totally still fucks over his customers and he had to fuck over a lot of people to become a billionaire.
Correct.
But Amazon did start as a used bookstore. as an online used books retailer. And then it became
Amazon.
what's all over your fucking office right now.
That's because I can't find things that's not from Amazon.
Not true. You got a Frank's Red Hot box there.
That's from the farm.
I know. But the point is that
I miss the farm.
any one of them, even paying their adequate taxes at 10%, that's still several $billion back into the economy. Instead of dragon hoarding it. Me personally, to answer the question in a light, fun way, I would go your route. My life, while I have always had issues in my life.
Yes.
And there are some things that I stopped regretting a long time ago. If you haven't told by my podcast style, I don't regret things, but I do. But when it comes to my life, I like my life. Who would I like to be for a day? I would want to be a millionaire, or I would be a billionaire, specifically a billionaire, because frankly, I could transfer even $500 million out of any of the Walton family.
Yep.
And they wouldn't fucking notice it. When was the last time they actually looked at their books? Let's be clear here. There comes a point where, like, for instance, and we're covering this when we talk about Jeffrey Epstein over on Killing 15 Minutes. He had complete control. He had power of attorney over the guy who was worth $7.8 billion because he owned Victoria's Secret and the L brand.
Limited.
Limited became the L brand. But there are literally people, there are so many fucking people who exist, their entire job is, I'm just here to manage your money.
Yeah.
It's why so much skimming happens. It's why if anyone actually checked their books, suddenly they'd find out, wow, a lot of my money actually, and not even a lot, even 0.1% of $1 billion, portfolio is only $100,000, and that's still more than the average American makes a year.
The average American right now makes $42,000.
I know that, but
I'm just throwing that out there.
No, that's fair. But that's sort of where it turns into this thing of, whose life do I want, even for a day? Personally, I don't want the glam of a
superstar, no,
of an actor. Do I want some slight notoriety for these podcasts, or Retrostatic Radio, or even what I did for Comic Archivist or anything like that? Yes, of course. Do I want to be Markiplier? Kind of. I would actually like being Markiplier. Not saying that his life doesn't have any issues. He's a phenomenal person and everything like that, but it's a lot of people saying I love you. I want one fan edit of me, okay? Even though I'm not on camera at all, ever. But you know what I mean? It's sort of one of those things that I stopped for a very long time. Like, maybe when I was a teen, I wanted to switch live. Even for a day, I would want to switch live. I want to be this person, that person, whatever. But I'm in my mid-30s. I'm on the wrong side of 35.
We're not going to discuss age, brother.
And I like my life. So anything that would be, hey, if you could switch, it would be, okay, how can I move their assets to me?
How can I make this work for me? So if I pick this, somebody has a huge platform, Taylor Swift, she has a huge platform. She was the first one I thought of, oddly enough.
But here's the real question. You would still have to sing as Taylor Swift.
Okay, I can do a couple of songs from her second album.
Wow. Suddenly she went from, from the Eras tour to, I'm just doing Teardrops on My Guitar for the 97th time.
Teardrops on My Guitar, our song.
What's that Romeo and Juliet song? Love Story.
Love Story. Stupid Old Pickup Truck You Never Let Me Drive. What is that one called?
Point is, suddenly, for that day, if Taylor Swift decides to go full country again, you understand Sam took over.
And I would use that platform to say, hey, I listen to, during my downtime, I listen to these podcasts, and I would throw out a bunch of podcasts. Does that make sense?
It does.
I I'd use her platform to build my platform.
No, I get it. I just like... Again, I'm picturing this in a full concert setup, Eras Tour level, where it's a fucking $1.8 billion production thing. She's standing in the middle of the stage doing Teardrops on My Guitar in her sequence fucking Life of a Call Girl fucking outfit. And then just as soon as she's done singing it poorly, because I've heard you sing.
Yeah, but I have her vocal cords.
But you would have your brain pattern.
I can... hold on.
You cannot carry a beat.
I cannot carry a tune, but I can follow a tune.
But you would be on the acoustic guitar, playing the acoustic guitar.
Yeah, that's where we would have an issue. I've not played the guitar outside of knowing A.
Red, blue, green, blue, red. Yes, you are a guitar hero.
Was it blue, green, yellow?
No, you could never do blue.
Oh, yeah,
no, it was orange. That was
orange because I just couldn't get my pinky down there fast enough.
That's what she said.
Bunch.
But no, so I'm just picturing, her. She just did the worst version of any song she's ever done ever, like an autistic fish, and suddenly just goes, and I'll listen to Blink in 15 minutes.
I'm tagging Taylor Swift when I use this conversation card, right?
Go for it, I guess.
Well, there's a lot of Swifties. I'm sure
there are a lot of Swifties. I knocked up a Swiftie. But the point is, they don't like people who talk even jokingly about Taylor Swift.
I understand that, but we aren't talking bad about Taylor Swift, so we got a plus going. I think she's a really good artist, and I think that she is a brilliant icon for women, particularly young women that can, has that good feel.
Okay. So you would switch, just to boil this back down to the question, Taylor Swift or someone akin to Taylor Swift?
I'd do, something that big with somebody with a huge platform and money I can skim easily.
That's fair.
I'm telling you.
However, you would have to be married to Travis Kelce.
He has to cut his hair back down to the crew cut. I do not like floppy hair, Travis.
Oh, I'm trying to be,
the sensitive poet boy.
Really? Because I read that more as, I'm trying to be edgy redneck.
No, I don't see that.
Not tradcon. It's like the pseudo tradcon thing. But anyways, so my answer would be Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, just so I could steal their money. Possibly they would wind up less than alive. 1 second. Or I would also do Donald Trump just so he could Hitler himself. Bye.
We'll see you guys in a few minutes. On to our next segment.
Hi there. Wasn't that a great conversation cards we just did? Amazing. I loved when AJ went, So anyways, today's topics with a Z is going to be something that I enjoy watching on other more popular YouTubers that are near and dear to my heart. We're reading some Reddit stories. But because this is our first little test one, to test the waters, we're just going to go with some classic Am I the Asshole stories.
Yep.
And I think if you don't know what Am I the Asshole essentially is you hear a story and it's like, am I the one in the wrong here? Am I the asshole in this situation? And sometimes you get an NTA that's not the asshole, where it's like, no, you're totally justified in wanting, your husband to call you grandma in the bedroom.
Ew.
Trust me, Reddit's a dirty, dirty place, sissy. And if this goes on, boy howdy. Sammy's what we call an internet casual. She's so green. She doesn't know internet culture.
Nope, I don't believe in an internet culture.
I really should turn off my sound though. My phone is very close to the mic right now.
Yeah, you bitch.
So, but let's read some stories, sissy.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Am I the asshole for making a dad joke? My stepdaughter was about a year old when I married her mother. My stepdaughter's father died before she was born, so I adopted her. She is currently 15, and she's rebelling about almost everything. She did something bad, so while picking her up, I set up a punishment for her. Then she said, You're not my dad. I don't have to follow you. Honestly, I got a bit hurt from that. But I understand that she didn't mean it and she'll probably change. I just replied, I'm still your legal guardian for the next 3 years, and as long as you're in my house, you'll have to follow my rules. That happened about 2 days ago. So our family was going grocery shopping when my stepdaughter said, I'm hungry, I need food. So I decided to be extremely cheeky and say, Hi, hungry, I'm not your dad. My son started to laugh uncontrollably. My daughter just went quiet with embarrassment. And now my wife is berating me not to stoop down to her level. I honestly thought it was a funny dad joke, and my son agreed. So, am I the asshole?
Yes and no.
You made an asshole-ish dad joke, but
Yes.
you are not the asshole in that situation.
Exactly. I agree. You made an asshole joke. It was kind of funny. I snickered. It was a good dad joke.
I feel really bad that our very first story is not really a, let's really get into this.
No.
I could understand why the wife is mad. The mom is mad.
Yeah.
I get that. However, that was a good comeback.
It was really good.
And you can argue that that means my parenting style must be a little unconventional. I don't beat my children, but yes, I'm an asshole to my asshole kids.
It's true.
And
They
if
are
you
assholes.
and if you turn around and go, "Oh my god, you call your kids assholes?" I don't call it them to their face most of the time,
We do call them little assholes once in a while.
but if you are a parent, you understand. Dem kids be assholes.
We do call them the spawns of Satan for no reason.
No,
for a
you
reason.
call them the spawns of Satan. They're my spawn. I don't call them that.
No, you call them spawns of a lesser god.
No, I also don't call them spawns at all. They're my kids. I call them kids. They're not spawns.
Crotch demons.
Again, no. Let's go with another one. Maybe this one will be more controversial.
All right.
Am I the asshole for telling my extended family how many men my sister slept with after she outed our younger brother as a virgin? Oh, this one sounds nice.
I gotta hear more now. I need to know more.
Shut the fuck up. You don't get to say those words. We had a family dinner this evening. My family has 4 kids in total. Me, my elder sister, my younger sister, and my youngest brother. Extended family attended our family dinner too. So all of our significant others, our cousins, aunts, and uncles were there. You guys do this? I'm assuming it's just this family dinner, because that seems a little excessive to me. If every family dinner, everyone showed up, unless it was
like they rotate, houses.
Yeah,
sort of
like
thing?
maybe once a month if they have a family dinner. I'm sorry, I love my extended family. I love you, Aunt Lou. Love you, Uncle Walt. Love you, Uncle Joey.
You love Uncle Joey?
Yes, I do.
I don't think you need to continue that conversation because you have no idea. Next.
Yeah. So we had a family dinner, yada, yada, yada. During the dinner, my elder sister and youngest brother got into a mild disagreement. My sister seemed, at least to me, to be coming across as very aggressive out of frustration and losing said argument, as most sisters do. The two of them were too absorbed in their argument to realize the rest of us were getting a bit fed up. Eventually, my sister got up really fast and said, "Shut up, I'm not going to argue with a 22-year-old virgin." My brother hadn't made any personal attack up until that point. It was completely unprovoked. I think it might have been the alcohol, as my sister is a mean drunk. As any sister generally is.
I'm not a mean drunk unless you make me mean.
Anyways, I immediately told my sister to grow up and that she was making an embarrassment out of herself. She replied by saying everyone knows that he's a virgin and she didn't say anything wrong. This annoyed me personally, as my brother definitely has confidence issues and doesn't need to be made fun of for this. which is true. Sora responded by saying how she slept with well over 100 men while she was in college, and that since everyone in the family knows this, it's not a big deal, right? Turns out her husband did not know this. He left the party angrily, saying that my sister misled him about her past. The family is blaming me for their marital problems now. I refuse to accept that I did anything wrong. My sister bullied my brother in front of everyone, and all I did was give her a taste of her own medicine. Thunderbear 99B or 99.8. Thank you. I love that. So, Sissy, how wrong was this sister?
Oh, the sister was wrong about in the middle of dinner. That is not a comeback you use. That is not something you say.
No, that is a personal attack. Yeah, that's for personal conversation.
Yeah,
there are dinner table argument rules, people.
Exactly. You don't go personal unless you have to. And she didn't seem to need to. Now, that could just be because we weren't hearing what they were arguing about.
Right.
Sort of thing.
The topic of what they were arguing about could have changed why that might have actually been
why was
not warranted. I don't want to say warranted, but that might have been topical personal attack.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? Sort of you
haven't had sex, so why are you telling me what to do with my sex life?
Yeah. Or something along those lines, where it is a matter of, okay, a 22-year-old virgin really, like if they're arguing about porn, I think the 22-year-old virgin is probably the expert.
You know what? I agree on that one.
But now, is it okay that he turned around, that the older brother, to defend his youngest brother, did turn around and be like, you was a fucking hoe.
Your mama used to be a hoe.
No, we're talking about this. Costco. We're focusing on this.
Now, sister used to be a hoe. Now she married. Her husband didn't know she used to be a hoe.
And now they're arguing. Now they're fighting about it.
Now they're fighting about it. Is it the brother's fault? No. Standing up for your sibling is not a bad thing. Standing up to your siblings against sibling bullying. If you're standing up because there's bullying your younger sibling, you always stand up for your younger sibling. The older sibling should not have done what they did. Period. End of discussion. But that's me.
Well, no, I also agree. Maybe this one isn't a good one for siblings.
No, not really, because
you used to
Oh, there was no hesitation on my ass controlling your ass. Okay, there was no hesitation that you were my property. And the minute somebody decided they were going to step up to you, what'd they have to do? Step up to me too.
Most of my trauma is from you, though.
That's a different story altogether. It's sibling trauma. We all have trauma.
Let's do one more story. Hold on. Am I the asshole for honking at another driver? No, because I already know your answer. Your answer is, no, road rage is okay.
I don't actually use my horn that often, oddly enough.
Ooh. Okay, I like the title of this one.
All right, hit me.
Am I the asshole if I stop paying my daughter's tuition over a disgusting comment she made that was directed at my new girlfriend?
Ooh, okay, let me hear this one.
This one might actually be controversial. My wife died at a young age of 51 from a car accident. I, 56 male, was in deep mourning for about a year after her death. I met my new girlfriend, C, 43 female, around January. C was the one who made me laugh for the first time after my wife died. She's smart as hell, 3 Ivy League degrees, has a dark sense of humor that I love, is a terrific cook, and is overall an amazing woman who I can imagine spending the rest of my life with. She's also on the heavier side, a fact that became relevant later. I have 2 children, E, 25 male, and A, 19 female. They were well aware that I had gotten a new girlfriend before I introduced them to C this summer. She got along immediately with E, but A was very standoffish. After the initial meeting, I asked A if there was something wrong, but she denied it. E and A both came home for Thanksgiving dinner. The dinner was going well as it could have for the first 10 minutes, although I noticed A glaring at my girlfriend the entire time. When my girlfriend went to grab another helping of mashed potatoes, my daughter made a comment that crudely ridiculed my girlfriend's size. My girlfriend started sobbing immediately and ran off into the bedroom. I felt my face turn red and told A to get out. About a half hour after A left, I texted her saying that I would no longer pay for her tuition unless she, A, apologized to my girlfriend, and B, my girlfriend accepted her apology. My daughter must have assumed that I was bluffing because she instead doubled down on her behavior during Thanksgiving dinner. I then logged into her university's tuition payment website, canceled next semester's tuition, and sent my daughter the screenshots. She called me crying and begging to reconsider, but I told her that my mind was made up. It was a little longer of a story, but oh, god damn it. This is a good one to end on.
It is a good one. Is he the asshole? No. Is the kid the asshole? Oh, fuck yeah. Is he an asshole for canceling her tuition? She's 19. She is legally an adult. Was there anything in writing that he has to pay her tuition? If there's something in writing that he has to, then he's definitely the bigger
Let's assume
asshole.
not, because it's not added. Just the adding our own personal details to it may just be us adding our own personal details.
Okay, you're right. So let's go with he had every right to do it.
I agree to an extent. Here's initially when I read the title, I'm like, okay, she made a comment that he did this, but he did. Assumably, if he's telling the story, in good faith, let's take these at good faith value here.
Right.
All she had to do was apologize. Now you could argue that, the girlfriend had to accept the apology too. And yes, she may not have.
In the long run.
In the short run. In the long run, she probably would have been like, well, why would you say that thing? And then they could have actually, C and A could have probably worked out. A is probably pissy because, she's 19. So her dad, who was 20, the mom was 21 when she died.
51.
51, sorry, you're right. And he's 56. But let's say that, it's only been a year-ish.
It has been a year since she died.
Yeah. So it's still very fresh in the daughter. And the son, who's, senior in college, hypothetically,
yeah,
has a little bit more of an understanding. Arguably. The daughter's fresh out of high school, so when she thinks of relationships, it's a very different thing than an adult way of thinking about a relationship.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Where she's probably standoffish and everything because you're not my mom.
Right.
Whereas the dude who's hypothetically gone through college, he's got 4 years in the real world on her.
Yeah.
Versus 19, maybe a freshman.
Could be a sophomore at the latest.
Yeah. So it's very easy to see where her animosity is coming from to play
devil's advocate.
Yeah. But she was in the wrong for being like, you're a fucking I don't know what she said. It's only a very cruel, ridiculing thing that he's, he doesn't actually say what she said. But her turning around and being like, you're a fat fucking cow, you know what I mean, is in the wrong. She's the asshole.
I agree.
And I agree with you that he's not the asshole for being like, look, I really like her, apologize. But then again, I'm also bringing in some personal baggage when it comes to parents being assholes.
Correct. The other thing is that you take out the fact that it's his girlfriend. He had somebody over for dinner on a holiday about getting together and making sure nobody's left alone, and you're going to disrespect them.
Right.
See, I see
that is I raised you better than this feeling as a parent. You know what I mean?
It's like every time somebody tells me Ezra's such a well-mannered boy, and I look over at Ezra and I give him a thumbs up. Because he could be well-mannered out there in the real world, and I want him to be comfortable in his own home.
Yeah.
So, but there is a point where you have to respect not just an adult, but a guest.
Right.
I don't care that, she's 13 years younger than your dad. I don't give a fuck. Yes, and that's something that popped into my head when I didn't.
No, I know. I did
math. It's bad. But it doesn't change the fact that she is a guest in your home. And it is rude. So his response to, I didn't raise you this way. I'm not going to continue letting you think this behavior is acceptable. I'm going to go a little bit extreme, but
at the same time, it's only an extreme in that it's not that he immediately canceled it either.
no.
It was literally, hey, you need to apologize. You know what I mean? That's it. I mean, yes, again, girlfriend needs to accept the apology, but ultimately it's, you need to be the bigger person here and be like, look, I'm sorry. What I said was out of pocket. You know, you don't even need to like fully apologize. It could just be, you know,
I'm sorry for how I said it. I'm sorry for what I said, but not how I said it, or how I said it.
Or something along those lines where it just is an immediate, you know, okay, look, I am sorry. You know what I mean? And that could open up a dialogue. But yeah, no, he's not the asshole.
I don't think he's the asshole. All right, so we did 4 of these.
We did 3 of these.
All right. We're going to go on to Sammy's Corner next. I have no idea what's happening yet. So we're going to have fun with this.
I will let you guys hear me next week. But in about 3 minutes, you'll hear Sammy.
All right, later. Things past us. Or us of the past. Meh. Welcome to Sammy's Creative Corner. Today we are talking about the greatest MC of the world. He won the first Best Song Oscar for a rap song, paving the way for 3 6 Mafia and along with Common and John Legend. He showed up on the scene and the world has not been the same since. Hip-hop was not white people music, which I believe is lies. I'm the whitest person that you will find, and I am a huge fan of rap, hip-hop, and R&B. I do like my 90s, early 2000s R&B. After that, it's kind of not that good. But you can prove me wrong by going to Carry On Productions on Facebook and tell me what I should be listening to. But I love all music, honestly, so when I'm in the mood, I will listen to anything. But if I am in a real mood, I need the beats of hip-hop. Anyways, he was not an issue until Eric and Erica started listening to him. His blonde hair and blue eyes bringing new fans to the scene. To quote the best line from his first single is, I don't give a fuck, God sent me to piss the world off. As one should. If you haven't guessed yet, I'm speaking on Mr. Marshall Mathers, the one and only Eminem. See, I've been a fan since, hi kids, do you like violence? Want to see me stick 9-inch nails through each one of my eyelids? And that was the moment my mother told me to turn off the radio, which did not help the bug he started. And I needed more because I knew who Dr. Dre was. I grew up in North Carolina, a minority in my neighborhood. And the music wasn't country like what my parents were playing, or old school rock, or anything like that. We listened to Latin music and hip hop. That tells you what it was like in the trailer park. Anyways, I grew up hearing NWA with Fuck the Police, still a relevant song, Dr. Dre and the Chronic, and Snoop. We had Eazy-E, Ice Cube, Tupac, Biggie. It was a great time in the 90s. And then this man showed up to the studio in a bright yellow jumpsuit, heard a simple beat, and started the beginning of My Name Is. This was the beginning of the most selling artist for decades. In the end of 1991, I do wish the world ended in hindsight and all, I heard Dre was dropping a new album. His second album ever. Before that 8th album came out, the Slim Shady LP had dropped. Followed by I Forgot About Dre. Interesting fact, AJ and Zach do a great rendition of it for a couple of white boys. Originally written by Eminem for Dre and Snoop, and then laid the demo track. That was what Dre needed. I have songs that I love that I cannot share with my nephew Ezra, and we have a deal with him being 13 to hear really hard stuff. This was the age I was when I discovered Eminem. I'm slightly younger, but about that. And he has been listening to this calm song since birth. And this is my fault, and I accept this with no hesitation. This is the kid that heard My Dad's Gone Crazy, which starts with, I'm going to hell. Who's coming with me? And this smartass goes, me. And that was about a year ago, and he still is my ride or die. I love all my kids, and they are all ride or dies for Aunt Sammy. Every single album makes me love Eminem more. I have to say my most influential song to me is White America. If you know, I used the lyrics from that song in the beginning of the segment. I also used the lyrics as a teenager connecting my large marketing graphic design project together. I used them as part of the background until I screwed up and Katwika was able to actually see the swear word, which was fuck. Shocking, right? Can't argue with the squashing that little language. So I proceeded to correct the issue, made the words unreadable, and I got a 4.0 in that class with 105 on that project. I went above and beyond. And I do miss those classes, and I hope my college experience is as good as the one I had in the art department at Holland High School. Probably the only time I'll say I graduated from there. Somewhere there's a bunch of CDs with those years of productions on there. I used like 6 different kids' accounts to be able to run my programs. It was great. Eminem was inducted by Run DMC into the the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on his first eligible year. Before that, he finally played Lose Yourself for the Oscar crowd. He had chosen to be home with his daughters because he didn't think he was going to win. Oops. So this has been a weird love letter to Eminem. And if he ever hears this, I would love to interview him and just fangirl for a moment. You are my favorite artist of all time, and you topped Dolly Parton, and she raised me. If you want to be on Sammy's Creative Corner, please email me at carryonproductions. Sorry, that's wrong. Please email me at carryonprod@gmail.com or on Facebook at Carry On Productions. I would love to hear from anybody but myself. This has been Sammy's Creative Corner. Now on to hearing AJ and I again. Look, if you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, one moment, would you capture it or would you let it slip?
Wasn't that a special episode? I don't think so, but it was really good. It wasn't a special episode. You didn't learn anything about your weed addiction. I didn't learn anything about my gambling addiction, or my sexual addiction, or my addiction to inferiority complex, or I didn't learn about not trapping kids in fridges like in Punky Brewster. I didn't have to go to a weird bicycle shop and nearly get molested like, Different Strokes with Gary Coleman, right?
Yes, that was Different Strokes.
I didn't have to go beat up,
No, that wasn't Different Strokes. That was,
All in the Family?
No, that was Archie Bunker.
Yes, Archie. I didn't learn about AITA sexual assault like in Archie Bunker. I didn't have to go and punch your abusive boyfriend like in Roseanne. I didn't have to go talk to my kids' teachers like in Roseanne. I didn't have to talk to my young cousin girlfriend/wife's niece about suicide like in Titus. I didn't have to talk about my mother's insanity like in Titus. Anyways, I don't think it was a special episode.
All right.
We're a minute and a half into me saying this is the end.
All right, guys, we will see you next week. Have a wonderful week, and hopefully you learned something.
Please go check out our Patreon so we can get an editor, so we can get these to sound better, look better, feel better. No offense to our current editor. She's amazing. However, she's overworked and understoned.
That's only because I'm underpaid.
And please go like our social medias. That's Facebook, Carry On Production, Twitter, Carry On Prod, Instagram, Carry On Production, or Carry On Prod, I don't know. Type in Carry On Production. It'll give you what we are. I'm AJ Carey.
Later, y'all.
Keep on carrying on.
C-A-R-E-Y. Because
Carry On Productions.